For those of you who'd like access to this content, follow the link in the description box, visit our Patreon page, and subscribe to the Black Kluge tier. For a mere $5 a month, you get access to the alternate Sunday episodes you've been missing, only available on Patreon, as well as the weekly Tuesday episodes. But wait, there's more. If you subscribe to the Black Kluge tier, you'll also get 2 weeks advance notice to our Thursday sessions. And if you needed any more incentive, when we have bonus episodes, Patreon is the place where you're going to find them. Also, don't forget to check out Teepublic for our great swag. The link is also in the aforementioned description.
This Travolta story is like the most wonderful, loving story ever. To say to someone, you've done it already, that's a pretty profound thought.
And everything's taken care of. So
Nice. That's thoughtful. So you did.
You thought this was something you should do?
yeah, because I didn't want my son to have to go through it, and I didn't want Stephanie
You
to
want?
go
Can I
through
say
it.
something? That is the most loving thing you could do. And says, we got to work on your act. He kicks everyone out of the room and says, you're not. There are certain things you could be doing. He goes, your jokes are good, but I want to talk to you about owning the stage, your presentation. That is such a loving thing. What a hustle. It really is. And the other thing that I say, it's a romance between you two guys. Because the fact that you had an agent before Matt, and then you said to Matt, hey, Matt, I got an agent. Why don't you go talk to him? I want to share him with you. I got to tell you, you might not think that's a big deal. I think that's a big deal. I would be like, fuck Matt Damon. I do not want to. He's pretty good. I don't want to share my agent with him. I want my agent focused on me. I need some separation from this guy. That is the most loving thing you could do for another human being, to say, hey.
Really is.
And when I think about your early life, I thought that you would be the guy who would be filled with anger and resentment because you lost your mother at 14. I always say this, how are you so kind and loving and not bitter about that experience? I'm a father of 3 daughters. And when my babies were born, I love these, you look at them and I get the chills thinking about how exciting it is, and they're learning and they're growing, and then they start to walk, and you're so in love with your child.
What I'm saying is the fact that you were too busy for the kids and other things was not.
I wasn't too busy for the kids. I spent lots of time with my kids, but when I needed to.
I mean, that's when you wanted to.
Right.
And what happened?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Our relationship as a couple fizzled.
Where did that come from?
Yeah.
It happened from, it's just like the same, you've gone out with guys that, you're the boyfriend before Mr. X, where things for some reason go sour.
Yeah, it's because you're not there.
I know. Emily called me. She goes, Dad, I talked to the New York Post, and I don't know what happened to this article.
Right.
And I said, I go, it's all right. I read it. She goes, the headline was that my daughter's afraid to date. Meanwhile, she was just in a relationship. I don't know what. I said, what's that about? She goes, I don't even know. So
How did they get that?
I don't know. But my daughter is fantastic. My 3 daughters are fucking amazing. And I'm very blessed. I have such a great relationship with them. And I really do. And
Welcome, ladies and gents, back to QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. I'm your host, Phil Moore, a.k.a. Jim Fix, and with me back from a sort of long hiatus is Mr. Jay Santi. How are you, sir?
I pretty much figured that I was on the back of a, quite frankly, milk carton. After it's been some time. I thought that they were going to come, like bounty hunters were going to come looking for me.
Well, you're always going to be in the mix, but the problem is now that we have so many co-hosts is that I'm trying to shoehorn everybody in so many episodes, and there's got to be a mix. I always try to make sure that the mix is well and truly accounted for, even though people have their preferences and whatnot. I like to keep it as fresh as possible, and but even still, it's always nice to go through episodes with Jay because he's such a reservoir of Stern knowledge, especially the older stuff, as well as the stuff I'm familiar with. And this particular clip is Howard bitching about Alison wanting a new winter car for like a Range Rover for the winter. I know you've heard this. It's probably on that Lakers One Nation, whatever that cocksucker. I blocked him from our channel because he was such a dick, but he's got some good stuff. I still have all this audio, but he's curated some things for me already, and so I figured I'll just use it. I'll use that one instead. But the old tips were so overmodulated, my cans almost blew up. So
I figured that I would be the winner of the unlucky lottery, and I would once again have to spin the wheel of gay, because that's what it always fall on me is oh, look, another gay episode with Jay.
Well, no, but this is, I mean, it's era. You're going to hear some gay shit in here, probably, I'm sure, but not specifically gay. Wayne, I'm recording with this week later. He wants to do the Timmy the Cat audio or video.
I love that. I love that.
But then I'm going to follow it up with the Bianca dies video. It's such hypocrisy. But anyway, we'll go right into it, guys, because this is a long one.
Oh, yeah. So we're in the middle of a blizzard. My wife's yelling at me because she's yelling, I want to take the kids out. I don't have four-wheel drive. I don't have the proper vehicle.
She has to go out in a blizzard?
Yeah, she had to go out, and she has to, like today, she has to take the kids. Meanwhile, the roads are clear. And, like, how many times do you get a blizzard? What, 3 times a year? I said, you know what?
3 times. We haven't had one in years.
Exactly. So now she's starting in with cars, and you have to help me with this decision, and you have to...
Because now, because of that one snow, she's going to go buy a car?
Yeah. I have a Jeep that has four-wheel drive. I can't fit 3 children and myself and the housekeeper in this Jeep.
I have a Jeep. 5 people in the Jeep. Where are you putting that extra, where's the housekeeper going to fit?
I can only imagine if it's one of those Renegades or one of those 4x4 compact Jeeps, and he just figures like, no, you can manage. It's fine. You can do that.
I think it's literally the Dixie, Daisy Duke's Jeep, from Dukes of Hazzard, and with the roll bar, right? And this is what the funny part. He says, I don't even drive it. The battery's drained. If you drain a battery, isn't the worst thing one of the worst things for a car if you just let it drain?
You just let it drain and you sit it there because it builds up. I believe it builds up the rust and the copper starts eroding. Yeah. So you want to get that changed immediately.
Mm-hmm. So that's the funniest thing. He goes, I don't even drive it. Why'd you buy it? It clearly is one of those things where he's such a 12-year-old. He thought it looked cool, so he must buy one.
Yeah, and he's always said that once he made it to the big time, once he got into NBC or even I believe he's a K-Rock, that he was like, I'm not driving anymore. We're gonna have to get a limo. Yeah.
So where does he do? He drives it around the block, like just like good, park it.
It's always been vague on when and how he'll drive, because he always had Ronnie on standby to come pick him up for stuff. Right. But then he'll also say that like on weekends he would drive to his parents' house or such like that. But it was never anything that he'll take long trips while he's driving.
In the days before GPS, I wonder how he got there safely every single time.
Oh, he used a magic and the sun.
Yeah.
And that's not a proper four-wheel drive vehicle, and the battery doesn't work. I said, so how about I get the battery charged up? Because I don't drive the car. Yeah. And then you can use it. And don't tell me you can't fit in there. You can fit in there. I can't fit in there. And I have the van. I have this. I don't drive, right? She has a Mercedes and a van. Okay?
Wow.
She says the Mercedes doesn't work in the snow. It's not safe. I go, you crazy? That thing weighs 5 billion pounds.
Now, I'm not a massive car buff, but even in the mid '90s, I'd imagine most of the big Mercedes sedans were all rear-wheel drive, and so I get it. But I learned on rear-wheel drive, so winter driving for me is no problem. Whether I got front wheel, 4-wheel, back wheel, I'm a pretty good driver where that's concerned. But you do get your practice in Canada in the winters, right? But like they can't get something with 4-wheel drive constantly. Just even in the mid '90s, was that not pretty common?
Hey, listen, as you are, I'm not a big car guy myself, but I know particular things.
Yeah.
And especially with New York and the surrounding parts of it, there's a thing called black ice that you
Yeah.
really need to pay attention to.
Big
And
time.
that happens often here when we get that kind of season.
Yeah.
I drive that thing. It's safe. She's got a van. She says that has no four-wheel drive. So the van lease
She
is
has
up.
to have. And now, what did people do before there was four-wheel drive? They still drove in the snow.
Of course. Of course. My parents don't have four-wheel drive. They were driving around in the middle of the blizzard because my mother had to have yogurt.
But I mean, years ago, nobody had four-wheel drive.
Of course.
Everybody drove.
Yeah,
in
but
the
now
snow.
my wife starts yelling and screaming at me that she doesn't have proper four-wheel drive. I go, you know what, Alison?
And I can't tell you how many times I had to take the shovel out of the back, dig under the tire when I got stuck somewhere, and then like dig enough out so I could get a sort of, like traction, pardon Sal, so I could get the car out of wherever the fuck I was. And it was brutal, but and this was pre-cell phone and everything, and driving by myself. And but you just deal with it. And thankfully around town people are pretty cool about that, giving you a push and stuff in the winter. But like about a mother with 3 kids.
Yeah, I was about to say, what a fucking pissant that you would do everything possible to ensure that your kids is safe.
Yeah.
So, shelling out a couple of shekels for a 4-wheel drive car. Yeah, I think that's the kind of sacrifice you make for your family. I don't see why he's making this a big issue.
And guys, if you want to know the date, it's approximately 95, 96. This is because if Ashley's in the picture, she was born in 93, and I believe she just popped out a little sprog. So Grandpa Stern is a grandpa again for the second time. And I was actually shocked that Ashley got pregnant and delivered so quickly after getting married, because I would have thought it would be Deborah to pop out another one.
Oh, that's that father yearning. We're gonna have to like, start looking into that. But also, around that time, around 95, 96, there was a big boom of where the larger wagons were being sold. There was like the forms of like the expeditions and stuff like that, and that became like the go-to car for families, especially in the city.
Yeah.
Although they're not very good for New York City because parking sucks.
Yeah.
In the suburbs and Long Island and such, you couldn't skip a house without seeing one.
Absolutely. And bigger the family, the more often you were going to find a minivan, certainly.
Right.
And if not a minivan, then, the first SUVs. I was still thinking SVU because I was watching it the other night. I always fuck that up. So, yeah, they were pretty standard, but not in there. I don't think they started getting really big until SUVs. I think by the turn of the century, they started becoming a much, much bigger proposition.
Right. It was around that, that same kind of that time. And because I remember in my neighborhood alone, and I lived in the inner city, I saw numerous drug dealers and such buying these cars.
Well,
But yeah, it was. And also, I was looking up. Four-wheel drive was created in 1893. I think around this time he should have been able to buy her a 4-wheel drive car.
I got a Jeep sitting out there, and she goes, you have to sell that Jeep. Every time it comes down to car, she wants me to sell my Jeep. I love my Jeep.
But you don't even drive it.
Yeah, but I love it. I want it. I own the thing. It doesn't pay to sell it, and I like it. You have to sell that Jeep. She's hostile to the Jeep. I don't understand. I said, go out and buy whatever you want. You want a car? She goes, we have to get a Range Rover. I go, you know what a Range Rover costs? Range Rover's like 60 grand. I said, I could buy a house with that. I said, why do you cut my veins open? How much longer am I going to sit and work to pay off these cars?
Holy fuck. And keep in mind, guys, by this time he's making easy like 10, 15 million a year.
Yeah, and for her to cry to sell the car, which I can only imagine it was like a Jeep Wrangler, and his gawky neck was like over the windshield itself. Why would you even like you said, he wasn't even driving like that. Why say you love the Jeep but yet the battery's dead?
Which we all do with our cars, right? We just leave them to idle, and
We love them so much.
I wonder if it's the same Jeep he and Ralph drove over his boots to get them more distressed. Jesus H.
She's getting to be a real Miss
You don't
Lady
even have a
Di.
place for these cars anymore.
I don't even have a place for these cars. So she says, in this weather, I need a Range Rover. I said, wait a second. You need a van that seats at least 7 people. They don't make a van with 4-wheel drive. I said, why don't you get a truck, like one of those Chevy trucks? It's too big. I don't want that. All right, then why don't you get a van? Well, if I get a van, then I need a 4-wheel drive also.
I'm sure there was a van with 4-wheel drive even then.
It had to be. It's a Caravan. I believe the Ford Caravan would have a 4-wheel drive as well.
By the mid 90s, yeah, absolutely. I mean, eventually it would become pretty standard, I guess, with rigs like that. So
I said, well, if you need a 4-wheel drive, who makes a 4-wheel drive that seats 7? I go, listen, do I look like a car? I said, we know Wayne Siegel. He's a car dealer. Call him. He'll help you and advise you. Why are you busting my balls? I said, I know nothing about cars. I'm a girl when it comes to cars. I'm a girl when it comes to everything.
Yeah.
Thank you for your honesty, sir.
Yeah. So it's fucking. I wish we could get that today.
I'm a girl when I'm naked. I said, why don't you call Wayne and discuss it with him? Because he knows all about cars. I will, but you should help. I go, listen, I'll drive anything. I drive once or twice a year. I don't like to drive. You drive every day.
Listen, I'll drive anything. I drive twice a year. Which is it? Oh, man. Like, it's just like...
Whatever car you want. But give me a break. I don't want to order a Range Rover and a van. I said, that's a lot of money.
He's got cars like a shoe wardrobe now.
Yeah, and I
With
said,
each outfit, she'll have a different car.
Yeah, and I mean, she knows what I make. Despite what you read in the paper and stuff, I don't make as much as they say is in the newspaper. And, there's a bottom line.
Oh,
she must be believing your press clip.
Yeah, she is. I go, Alison, you want to pay for all this? You want to go get a job?
Ooh, okay. Now, the reason why I wanted to play this clip, because I know it'll infuriate a lot of people. This is part of that era that a lot of people say is the best time of the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would this be an example of something that you found funny, or would you say it was just fascinating to hear his relationship with Alison deteriorating on the air in real time?
Yeah, because it was never it was rarely an individual who will call in and would agree with him or would relate to this situation. Many times the callers would chastise him and tell him and say, you got money? Why don't you just throw it, get in the car? And even say, dude, it's your kids. Like, what are you talking about? This is what, and he'll always double back and, find a way to find an excuse for why he's not doing it. Dude, it's a comedy show. Or I'm just trying to be funny here. But no, you're being an ass.
Well, yeah. The other thing is, it's even if a car costs, and whatever this car costs, let's say it's a 6 figures, maybe it's $100,000. You're not going to the dealer with an attaché case full of $100,000 and just plopping it on the thing like James Bond. You're going to pay, over time and just like pay installments on it, whatever. And with the money you got, that's never going to be a problem, dude.
And he had Wayne Siegel. He was one of them. He definitely gave him a deal. Like, he knows that. Oh, he probably even got it for free just to get advertising on the air.
That's exactly what I was thinking. So when it came to he bought the stripper a Mercedes, and it wasn't the same one he bought Robin. But if he bought Robin a Mercedes and he bought her a Mercedes, we know that he's like some deal from Wayne Siegel for plugs.
Oh, definitely. And there's always, quid pro quo.
It's hard. It's tough even for me. Quid pro quo.
Quid pro quo. Yeah, that thing. Regardless of how, and we would find out later on that they were subtle when they were doing it. How we covered the Heineken deal. That was like one big handshake on the back deal to have an advertisement done on the air without really like paying for it and such.
Yeah.
She couldn't even find a job to pay for a Range Rover. Just to pay for. Oh, if I signed her.
Her job wouldn't cover the cost of a Range Rover.
No, it wouldn't. She couldn't make 60 grand a year. Who's going to pay her 60 grand a year?
Fucking, and this is where when he got abusive like this, and if this was 96, it's really close to the end. It's just really difficult to listen to as not just as a husband, but just as knowing that this is just one time, one day. She's not on the phone yet. She will be. She'll call in. But this is what he would have been like at the house too.
That and the fact that this son of a bitch is not, he's forgetting the moments where she labored and worked while he was trying to get into the market and find a station that was going to keep his gawky ass for an extended period of time. And he would lean on her for support. And she was out there jumping from job to job. And
city to city too.
Yeah, city to city. And mind you, she worked in a field that wasn't progressive until years later. She was working like in the mental health field. So
yeah.
It wasn't easy for her.
Not at all. And the other thing is, of course, he most likely told her, no, you don't work. I will work to make money for both of us. You take care of the kids. And that would have been the agreement. I don't want to have anything to do with the kids. But it wasn't one of those, look, you'll get whatever you want. You'll be in charge of the finances. He's in charge of the finances. But I'm going to be working. He didn't want her to get independence.
Right. He had to have her under the nail. It had to be there.
Yep. 100%.
So she starts yelling and screaming. And no wonder I was on edge. No wonder I got sick. My kids are screaming about America Online.
Everybody's screaming.
Everyone was yelling and why it was cabin fever. I gotta have I said, you know what? For the
Where were they going?
Yeah, because she had to take a carpool today for the kids. Meanwhile, the roads are all cleared by the time she had to take a carpool. I can't, like yesterday, she would have gone somewhere.
Yeah,
I have to go places. I go, there's nowhere to go in this blizzard. Where are you going? Stay home.
Four-wheel drive will work well on those clear
roads. And I can't drive that Jeep, and I was just like, oh, you got it too goddamn good.
I'm just thinking at one time she used to drive that car that used to do 360.
Yeah.
And she never complained.
Never complained. Now all she does is complain, and it's like, who needs it?
She had a K car?
I was going to throw her right out in the snow. Go, here, go drive. I was really pissed. It's like, what do you want from me?
Sounds like De Niro and Goodfellas.
I was listening to the other day. It was his birthday, and his sister calls in, and she is lamenting about how she loved him growing up, and how he was such a great brother. And then when you hear the stories that she was saying, it's like, no, he sounded like a pain in the ass. That's what he sounded like.
What year would this have been? Like later?
They were serious already. They were
okay.
Serious. And she'll say like, she says, oh, he was able to get anything he wanted from my parents. Like if he wanted a certain toy or he wanted to get, he found a way, and he'll turn to me. He says, watch, I'll get it.
And he'll whine about it. He said he would whine and he'd get it. I remember that clip.
Yeah. And I'm like, he sounds like a pain in the ass. And it seems as though that this carried over until adulthood, and even now into his elderly age.
Once he figured out that whining or pleading or crying, whatever it was, the most annoying possible thing, like Lloyd in Dumb and Dumber when he's in the cab with the big guy, I can't remember. He always plays mobsters or Italian guys. He played. Yeah, Mike Ugata, and I think passed away, hasn't he?
I believe so. Yeah. I only remember because I met him at an audition one time. Mike Starr, good guy.
Great character actor. He was in Summer of Sam as well. He plays the ex-crooner.
One of the best roles he've ever played. There was a movie that was it was an HBO movie.
Yeah,
and it was about the first terrorism at the World Trade Center, the first one where they did the explosive in the vans. He actually played one of them, the Arab, the Muslims.
You're kidding.
And I was like, it took me a minute. I went, hey, that's the guy from Last Dragon.
Oh, man.
Because it's my fault she can't get a car. I said the Chevy truck's too bad. I said, what about a van, another van? It doesn't have four-wheel drive. Okay, so what do you need four-wheel drive? I got a Jeep. You could use that in an emergency.
So what's he going to do?
I'm not going to use it.
She has now.
I don't know. She says she can't drive those cars in the snow, and I say you can. Of course you can.
So she's gotten another car on top of everything else? She didn't give up anything?
No, I don't know what she's...
If she's going shopping with kids, you can't use a fucking Jeep. There's no trunk space.
Right. And if it's like one of those it's only, a 4-seater.
Yeah.
And it's just, like you said, no trunk space. Depending on how the back is situated, especially if it's high, especially if they're high. Like, how do you expect a woman to put grocery stuff in a high Jeep? I mean, he's obnoxious with this.
And plus, the battery's dead, so she can't use it.
Exactly. Yeah. She'd have pushed it to the supermarket. That's what it is.
You better believe it. Kids, get moving.
Dude, she ain't getting no other new car. Trust me. I see a new car, I'm going to put a sledgehammer through it.
Can't lift it.
These new cars. She needs this car, she needs that car, this car's safe, that car. I said, what is this? Why don't we get a car for rain, a car for snow, a car for summer, a car for...
Why not? Everybody tells me that a Volvo wagon is supposed to be the safest car for kids.
Yeah, but I'm sure she has a problem with that.
Oh.
Really? Yeah, wait, let's call her. Hey, Gary, call my wife. Get her on the phone. Wait, you'll hear.
All right. She must have researched this one already.
Volvo wagon's no good.
What does she want?
She'll start yelling at me. Volvo wagon.
Volvo wagon.
You'll see. She's got a whole rap. And she can drive any one of those cars.
And what about, like, a Grand Cherokee if she wants four-wheel drive?
Well, she wants a Grand Cherokee. And then on top of the Grand Cherokee, she needs a bigger van.
Where she's hauling everybody.
Right. You get the picture?
Oh, yeah.
And then I should have to sell my Jeep.
So 15 cars.
What?
That's what it is. The Grand Cherokee would have been perfect. And sitting low Grand Cherokee. That's what probably he had. He probably had just the regular Cherokee. Yeah, the Grand Cherokee would have been a fine fit for her.
Yeah.
You must have really pissed her off, man, because she goes, I was just going to call.
Hi, sweetie.
I was just going to call in.
Did we have the nicest 4 days?
Oh, God. You know, you are so pleasant when you're sick.
My wife and the kids wanted me out of the house so bad.
He is such a pain in the neck when he doesn't feel good.
Which must be all the time. I mean, come on.
Well, King baby. Like, we're having that fourth child. Like, you weren't aware you had one, then he's 40 years old.
Well, it's like Sal's wife when Christine said it. She says the problem that I have with my husband is he's a child like the ones we already have. He's the fourth child, and that's exactly what Wiggy is.
She had it really rough because all the kids were pretty close in age. I mean, Ashley and Deborah are, I think, 4 years apart, perhaps, maybe not so much. And then Ashley is like the youngest by quite a bit. Like, I think she's probably, 93. She's probably 9 years younger than Deborah.
Yeah, there was a big gap there because I remember him talking about the last child, and he had said that's it. This is it, and this is you having to deal with this.
Just a quick question in terms of your prognostication skills, Nostradamus. If they hadn't had Ashley, do you think they would have gotten divorced like 5 years earlier?
Yeah. It was already in the cards. He had already. This is what they call the last grab baby.
Yeah, like the makeup baby or the last chance, sort of
to sort it out, put it together, baby.
Yeah.
And it was already in the cards. Once he made it to New York and he got the K-Rock deal, it started to turn. The turn started to happen, and she was never really happy with putting a lot of their business out on the air.
Yeah,
and especially making her look like the villain. She often said she took it on the chin and stuff like that. But later on down the line, you would hear the stories and such. And even he had admitted it in during the divorce that he had said that I shared too much.
Yep,
and maybe that led to what happened. But it was like, yeah, that's that. And then the fact that you were not a productive husband or a productive father. Yeah, you provided money-wise, but as to be around, you weren't there.
And when you were much younger, did you It's tough. I guess it's, as the years go by, it's tough to remember. Do you ever remember any friends that had an absentee parent, not necessarily a father, just because of the way they were working so much, not because they weren't trying to provide, but they were literally worked so much and the shifts were so weird that they might have been doing shift work overnight. They wouldn't see the kids that often.
Sure. My mother was an absentee parent for years. My mother would put in 16, 18-hour days,
Yeah.
And I understood it. You know, you grow up quick like that, being a latchkey kid. And,
yes.
No, and that was being, a single parent. As for 2-family homes in my neighborhood, there was rarely any of that. But I had one of my closest friends who we're still close to this day. He had a father, worked for MTA, he worked for the transit system, and he cranked in a lot of hours. Sometimes it was a 90-hour work week for them. And it come home, eat a meal, went to sleep, did quick discipline, and then was right back to work.
Now, did your friend ever feel like he didn't get the best of his dad or didn't get enough time with him and resent him this way Howard is being such a fucking prick, even though he was given everything?
Not at all. He actually admired his dad because he was one of 3. So, whatever time his father did have, he did share with them. Yeah. And that work ethic actually carried over to him to this day.
That's great.
He's one of my mentors of how, being a good father is and putting in, sharing that time. Because that's the one thing he walked away with. He says, making money's good, but at the same time, I got to be there for my kids. And I was like, yeah, I get that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like they say make memories, but, Howard was making awful memories for their fucking kids. And it all would have been so simple. He could have had his cake and ate it too, had he just put in a shift. Like every couple of times a week, 3 times a week, so the kids knew that they were wanted and loved. But instead, it was like, no, me first. I had Alison, the kids, everybody.
I often believe it was done by necessity. I often said that it was his mom who actually pushed him to do this. Like if he had it his way, he would have never gotten married. He would have never had.
Certainly not.
I think it was more of his mother, because I believe Ben even knew that. This guy can't be a provider. He can't be a father. Like he knew his son was a schlub.
But do you think the real thing was Ray saying my son's a fagulous, so like we got to marry him off?
And that could be it as well. We gotta prove to him that there's other thing out there besides cock. So I guess
I guess it didn't work.
Yeah, I was yelling at my wife, and then the kids got upset because I was yelling at my wife. What do you got? Those kids turned against me.
No, you are unbelievable. They're very sensitive.
So anyway, last night when I made in my pants, I had to tell my wife.
Did you tell them?
I told my wife.
I didn't tell them.
You didn't tell the kids, did you?
No.
I went to the bathroom in my underpants. That's how sick I was.
Well, you're not feeling. How are you today?
And my wife caught me washing my underpants in the shower.
This is something that he's had most of his life. These I guess because no fiber, he doesn't know how to fucking eat, just like Beth doesn't. He talks about shitting his pants like no 90-year-old I've ever heard.
Exactly. Like he should have been like the sponsor for Depends even back then.
Absolutely.
Ads.
Fuck yeah.
But
is that what you would do?
Or like a bidet company like Toto or some shit.
But with him as well, once again, even you heard her say, she goes, how you feeling today? She, expressed concern. She's checking in. And he just blew right through that.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, you clogged the toilet up with your tampons.
Oh, God, you have to announce it?
I always told you don't put tampons in the toilet. What are you going to do with your tampons now when you have your period?
In the wastebasket.
Oh, is that going to stink?
Oh, would you stop it?
Robin, don't those smell?
Well, you have to wrap.
Wouldn't you know, you fucking idiot, if you're around? Because Mr. He's the Bob Hope of radio. Anybody not familiar, Bob Hope had a daughter and a wife, Dolores, that he barely ever saw. And over the years, he was such a fucking poon hound, and legendarily so. Like, if you go on Twitter and look up Mamie Van Doren, believe it or not, she's still alive. She's on Twitter, and she's great. And she talks about how much of an asshole he was. And anybody wants stories about Bob Hope, about him taking like these girls to Vietnam on the USO tours and threatening to leave them there if they didn't screw him.
Jesus, Mamie Van Doren is still alive. Wow.
Yeah, she looks pretty good for her age too, I gotta say.
Well, how about that? Maybe Van Buren is still alive out there. How y'all doing? All right.
That's a great impression.
Remember Van Buren?
You know, you and Wilding should do a double team. Like he should, no, not double team. The way you think.
Here goes the gay shit again.
Drop him off.
quickly.
You better keep tinfoil up there.
Excuse me.
I want those in tinfoil.
Excuse me.
Why didn't you just throw away those underwear? Why were you washing them?
Because they're a perfectly good pair of underwear. And I got everything out.
50 cars, you're saving underwear.
Why did he wash it? He got that from Ray, because that's what Ray did. And to be honest with you, the only time I've ever heard of someone washing their underwear is women. Like, if I would make a mess, go in the garbage. Don't need them anymore. I don't care. It's over.
Yeah, this well, I mean, what is it? Thrift? Like he's got to save it because he doesn't want to go get new Fruit of the Loom or whatever the fuck. Fruit of the Loom. Oh, geez. You know what? It just came out. Unlike Howard, who will never come out. But yeah, he talks about this like washing it. I think again, Raven and I both are on board, and I think most of us are. Whenever he wanted attention from Ray, he would just shit his pants.
Wow, that's interesting and disturbing all in one. Yeah, that's kind of
very much so. Like purposely, like the gay guy's son in The Sopranos, shitting in the gym shower. I love that Artie soliloquy.
Diarrhea, so they came right out in the water.
But who cares?
Nothing stuck.
Just don't wash them. Throw them away.
You getting sick? Is Robin getting sick?
Yeah.
Am I? No.
Listening to me, she's getting ill.
No, we all are now.
So why don't you tell Robin why a Volvo would be no good for you?
I never said a Volvo would be no good for me.
Tell her how many cars you need. Let's see. Why don't you discuss it?
Monday, you need what?
Because your other cars are no good in this weather.
No, the point is I need a four-wheel drive that seats more than two people.
She needs a four-wheel drive that seats more than two people.
Four-wheel drive seats four.
It seats four.
I have three children.
That's four people with the driver.
And then she has a housekeeper.
And it's too small. Plus, it's not working.
It's not working because I don't drive it. All you'd have to do is get the battery charged and you can use it.
Yeah, but it's just too small a car. We need a.
So forget about my Jeep.
I know.
Why do you always focus on my Jeep?
I'm not. Don't worry. It's all taken care of. I know what I'm doing.
What are you going to get?
Well, I might rent something temporarily, and then I'm going to look into what I'm going to get.
I don't.
He's afraid of paying money to rent.
Yeah, like fuck that. Pay through the nose. He's got enough nose to pay through. Fuck that. Let him buy the shit.
Make it rain at the fucking at the Lexus dealership.
Please.
I never really had. Well, that's not true. I was thinking of a dream cars when I was a youngster. When I was really young, the '94 Toyota Supra was one of my. Like when I was in my like late teens, but then the Nissan 300 ZX, loved that car. Or the Acura NSX, the first couple of those.
Oh, look at you!
Love them. For sports cars, I wouldn't want to fucking actually own them because the premium on a sports car.
Oh, please.
Yeah,
I might as well take out an extra kidney for.
But now that I'm a little older, I love at one point a used Mazda Miata would suit me just fine. Always loved the look of those cars.
Man, listen, my neighborhood, it was either the Honda Civics. Those were like, please, they would use them for racing. They would load them up with audio. It was like go-to car.
Oh, the old Civics were great. Like people would be fucking adding so many like rims to them, custom paint jobs. They were and not cheap either. Like Toyota, even like you think, well, it's a small car. Fuck that. And Toyotas were pricey.
My favorite cars of all time. They don't even make anymore. One of my favorite cars was the Mercury Cougar. It came with a factory system that was amazing.
Yeah.
That one and the Grand Prix had phenomenal sound systems in it. I used to love those cars.
Yeah, nowadays, like I'm stuck. Now I'm looking at like hybrids and stuff. And when you see an electric car coming up behind you, it really does seem like you're in like an extra in the movie Tron.
Let me tell you though, I've been in a few of them. They're something special, man. Like, fuck Elon Musk, but Jesus, that's some innovation right there, man. Those are some good cars.
This, in terms of the noise level and the obviously like lack of what do you call them? Then there's no CO2 or not much anyway, it whatsoever. I don't know how what they must have, but they must use some oil somewhere in the gears, obviously, but it doesn't burn obviously the fossil fuels. But the rides are pretty smooth. And I think instead of with the old days when something breaks inside, it's mostly all digital, so you just take it out and install a new one.
Yeah, yeah, and the all the see-through all sunroof and the screens on the dash. It's remarkable what technology does. I'm surprised that no other companies are trying to like finagle the blueprints.
Yeah, just wait.
Believe this, Alison. The roads
they're very costly.
The roads are clear. You could drive.
No, I know. I've already been out today.
She says a Mercedes doesn't. What did you drive?
I drove the van.
Yeah, and it handled fine.
It was fine.
So then what is your problem?
Yeah, but it's not great on these kind of roads. It doesn't have four-wheel drive. I mean,
Alison, there was up until 2 years ago, there was no four-wheel drive.
I know what I have to do. Would you?
All right, tell me what you're going to do.
None of your business.
No, I got to pay for it. I'd like to know. Unless you got a job that you could cough up 60 grand. Last night she's buying Range Rovers.
I said I would like to get a Range Rover. It was very, very good the other night.
All right, so does that seat 7?
No, it doesn't. That's why I'm not going to do it. I'm looking. I don't have the answer.
You see how crazy you can go from her?
No, Howard. First of all.
Why don't you get a job and pay for the Range Rover?
You are no help to me whatsoever.
But what do I know, Alison?
Oh, he does provide some.
Oh, Jesus, man.
No lies though, and that one I agree. The Range Rovers even then were pricey as shit. Like,
well, I'm sure they haven't gotten any cheaper. That's for sure.
Oh no.
But what's the Range Rover seats? What, like 5, maybe 6?
Then it was like maybe 6. Well, it was maybe like 5 back then.
5, yeah.
Now,
safe.
Now they've stretched it out a little bit more. So now it's about like 6 to 7.
Yeah, maybe a half a child on the back somewhere in a box.
Alison, what do I do? Do I drive cars? You're the one who has to drive it. Why would I be help to you?
Yeah, but you might have some ideas.
No, do I read Car and Driver magazine? You know a guy. You know Wayne Siegel.
I don't have an answer right now.
Why don't you call Wayne Siegel?
I'm going to call Wayne Siegel. Is Wayne Siegel at work at 8 o'clock in the morning?
No, but why didn't you call Wayne Siegel 2 weeks ago?
I didn't know about this, Howard.
Oh no, she's been screaming about it for weeks.
No, because I was waiting. I was waiting till my lease ended. Now I'm.
Last night she had me up to buying 3 new cars. One was going to be a Range Rover. The second one would be a van.
No, he panics when I make a comment.
She goes, I think I need, for this kind of weather, I need a Range Rover. And then I see myself in a big van or truck for when, and I'm like, whoa.
Now, it's not just the money. This is the thing that I think people seem to forget. It's not just the fact that she's about to cost him some money, buying something new. It's that she's consulting him with anything. If it was the light bulb needs fixing, panic. Go call, I don't know, call Tony Siragusa. He'll fix it for you. I'd leave me alone.
Yeah, and that's her thing. Because remember, when he's always said that I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be bothered. And then when she does things without informing him, he gets upset. She went out and did this on her own. Mind you, in his office, they had like a shared space. She had a space down there in his office. So there was some form of communication there. That's when she found the list for the movie
condoms.
When the condoms were on it. Yeah. So there is that kind of shared space to have these conversations, but he would put up the electrical locks and not want to be bothered by it.
Yeah. Well, so like, and it's funny, the parallel is, and I don't know how much of it reflected its time as K-Rock or WNBC or whoever, but when he wouldn't make time for Alison specifically, like if he got like that at the house, it's almost exactly how he would treat Gary later on, especially in the show, where Gary wouldn't get FaceTime with him and didn't want to meet the sponsors. He didn't want to meet with anybody.
Yeah, and this is when he needed to rest because meditate, as he would say. Because he had such a grueling 5 hours on the air, so he would make sure that he'll go get his rest and then run right out the door.
Let me show you a picture I screen capped from a Ben Stiller video. Okay, Ben Stiller was like in the studio in like 2015 or whatever, and this is Howard in the studio when he's in the interview.
Oh Lord.
That's Ben Stiller what he sees.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
I think I might have just been listening to that interview too.
Well, yeah, and like in the next picture you see Ben Stiller looking over like quizzically, like, and he's I just think,
why,
you know,
why would they even capture that photo? Like, why would it? It's so. He's like that because I know we all know he's socially awkward. He's
Sure.
just is, and he's never been shy to say that, to say the least. But he's never even made an attempt to try to, work on it. Every time I hear him talk about going to parties, it sounds like it sounds like torture.
Yeah.
Well, how many cars do we have to buy to make sure that so you can drive kids to nursery school?
No, you are so wrong.
Why don't you get a school bus?
You take everything out of context and blow it up. I'm not even going to have a discussion with you about anything. I'm just going to do what I have to do because I know the things that I have to do. You have no idea. You don't
know the things you have to do because if you knew them, you would just do them. Instead of bothering me.
Would you
Oh God! So like, you hit the nail on the head. She has to consult him because he is going to pay for it, right? She wants him to know this is what I'm ordering, so you know how much it costs. I'm trying to be upfront. He doesn't want her to approach him about anything, but then if she doesn't, then he's going to say, "What the fuck is this? Why am I being charged all this for something that I never ordered?" And he'd give her all kinds of shit for having ordered it.
Exactly. That's exactly what was going to happen, and it's been played out on the air so many times. It had gotten to a point where she didn't even call in anymore. It stopped.
Yes, and she gray rocked him, and we covered that one time with Bob, and it was you could tell there was definitely the technique that she was maybe she knew what she was doing, maybe she was taught how to do it, but she was definitely not giving him the space to spin his bullshit. And once she was off the air, he was like, "Oh damn it, now it doesn't work."
Man, I was listening to an episode where it was I believe in 2000, and one of the callers asked about how's your relationship with Alison these days and the new husband, and
that's a great clip. I want to cover that one day.
And I said, "Shit, I forgot she married like in a year, like it was that fast."
A year to the day of the separation, and he was shocked. He said Chauncey did an interview with him, and he said, "I was surprised that it happened."
Yeah, I was like, "Shit, I forgot about that." Yeah, it was that fast. Oof.
Yeah, that's telling. That was a deliberate slap in the face.
Definitely. Yeah. That's so telling.
Yep.
Stop it. I have to investigate things, and you're no help whatsoever. No help.
That's right. The only help I am is I pay for all of this, so you can sit and indulge yourself.
It's not a matter of indulgence.
Isn't it amazing? I'm no help. I'm the one paying for all this, and I'm no help.
Ideas.
Well, whatever you.
You know what? You didn't have these problems when he didn't make this much money.
I didn't have 3 children then.
Fuck
I have
off,
3 children. I have things to go.
Yeah, and the other thing is, and this is quite telling. You could tell Alison's just fucking like she's just given up on him almost. Now, what was key is that the thing about Alison was, and I remember distinctly back in the day having read the stuff, like especially in private parts, but then never heard the audio because again we couldn't get it until I moved to Asia, that Alison did sound like a whiny, yes, he called her a yenta. But then when you actually get a chance to hear the audio, you know that the only reason she's acting the way she is because she's fucking furious and fed the fuck up with him.
Right. And it's been, remember, they were, by this point, it's already been 20 years married, almost.
Yes. Yep.
And she had already known him prior to that, like, 2 years, 3 years before that. So.
Oh, yeah.
Places to go, people to see, things to do. And it's none of anyone's business, Howard. I don't believe you're doing this to me.
Man, we had one weekend we were fighting over cars and America Online. What are we going to do about that America Online?
I thought
I'm getting rid of it.
No, I thought you took care of it. You blocked...
I don't know. They were complaining.
Now, he wants to keep America online because at this point he's doing his gay porn chatting in the gay porn rooms.
Yeah, he found a better one after Prodigy.
Yeah. I mean, he writes about it, guys. It's not just me saying this. This is, and he talks about it. Yeah.
No, they were not complaining.
Do you need Wayne Siegel? He's on. He said he'll take care of everything for Alison as soon as she
Tell him to call me the minute I hang up.
Yeah, Wayne.
Hanging up.
Yeah, call my wife. You got nothing else to do.
Oh, he's making money when your wife calls.
Yeah, right.
Right. He's a big help. He is terrific.
Yeah, well, that's his job to know about cars.
I know, but...
And I'm not going to be driving it. You're the one who's going to be driving it. How can I help you?
Let me do what I have to do and stop...
Well, who stopped you from doing what you have to do?
You're carrying on like I'm asking for 100 things.
You are. Last night, tell the truth. Last night you were buying a Range Rover.
I was discussing a Range Rover.
And
did you see me in a store?
Plus another car.
No, you're completely wrong. No,
and you know what?
Yeah, it's like totally gaslighting and trying to put it like, oh, she's buying. She's talking about it. It's not the same thing.
And you hear the stress in her voice now. Now it's not even funny games anymore. Now it's stress.
It's psychological abuse at the very least. So I guess my question is going to be to you guys, the listeners, especially the ones who listened back in the day. Would a situation, would audio like this set you off? Would it make you angry? Would it make you feel, did you find it funny in any sense? I would not have. I would have found this very kind of, it's like being in a restaurant when you see it with a couple and they start arguing. You want to be anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly. You become a part of the audience, the argument without being part of the argument.
Oh yeah, fuck.
You know what's amazing? I got 3 garages in my house, right? All of them are full of her crap. Instead of going in the garage and cleaning out the garages.
Not my crap. It's the construction crap.
Well, tell them to get their crap out of there. What good is having a garage if I got crap in there? And then my car is sitting out in the snow and it doesn't work because I got no battery.
No wonder you're sick.
I tell you, I can't get my life straightened out. No one takes charge over there.
Oh my God.
No one takes charge over there. Listen to that. He wants to be the head honcho, but doesn't want to make a fucking decision. No different than the Stern Show. No different than any other aspect of his life. He has to be pushed into things, and then he'll resent you for having pushed him, whether it was successful or not, or a good choice or not.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be one way or the other. There's no compromise with him.
Nope.
This is terrible.
I tell you, that's why I can't stay home, because I see what's going on. I see the disarray.
And you see what's going on.
And the disorder.
No,
she's in charge of the home.
Miserable, sick.
Yeah, because I told everyone how you gallivanted during the blizzard to that bar mitzvah and left me alone with the kids.
Well, that wasn't the intention to leave you alone.
I almost had a nervous breakdown.
And you didn't have to be too involved. It was for an extra hour.
Never leave me alone with kids, even if they're my own.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What a fucking piece of work. I'm telling you.
I mean, just imagine. Okay, you can't imagine it because you're a proper dad. You do things with your daughter, and you make sure that she's the top of the mountain, and you make sure that you make time for her, as you should, as everybody should with their kids. And that doesn't mean treating them like, oh, congratulations for coming in 10th place. That's fantastic. The participation awards are a little. I hate that shit these days. But no, I'm not going to go on a diatribe about it. But Howard made himself so inaccessible to even his own kids. It's makes no surprise that that some of them that Deborah Emily came out as remotely sort of steady as she has in later on. It took her quite a while, but that's not surprising. She saw the worst of it all.
But yet he's constantly has to remind people, yeah, I'm a good dad. The one thing as a parent that you do is that you don't have to remind the world that you're a good dad. That's not just, you don't do that. I often say it's almost like obnoxious when I hear somebody say, yeah, I'm charismatic. You're not supposed to say that.
Yeah.
Somebody else is supposed to compliment you with that.
It's too much work for me.
Oh, well, I didn't know you weren't feeling good.
Right. Let that be a lesson. She was good to me, though. She filled up a humidifier for me. I got to give you that.
Nice.
Oh, I took such good care of him.
You did not. You hardly even came up and saw me while I was sick.
What are you talking about?
The whole time I'm laying in bed with diarrhea, you didn't even come up to see how I was.
I came up a million times, Howard.
Lying in bed with diarrhea. What?
What is he in India? Like, is he in the streets of India? Like, shit.
He's Lefty in Donnie Brasco when he sees the line. He goes, "I just shit my pants." I tell you. So, like, maybe he did it for Alison for attention. You know, like to be his own child in his own house. So, can you wipe my ass for me? Like, fuck. It wouldn't surprise me at this point.
Times.
Oh God.
You didn't even take care of me.
I took care of you.
What do I have a wife for? If you're not even going to take, I can do that myself.
You are unbelievable.
I'm running out of reasons to have a wife.
I took care of you so much.
Filled the humidifier, a real frontier woman. She filled it up with that Vic stuff because my nose was full of blood.
Oh, really?
I took such good care of him.
That's all you did, though. And even the sheets on the bed don't fit right, and they kept popping off.
Oh my God!
Wouldn't you just take a pillow to his face?
Doesn't he have like I said? Don't they have a maid? Don't they have it in house? Like,
I'm sure the maid's got earmuffs on.
The whole time, every time I moved in the bed, the sheets would come off. Yeah, I'm in a naked bed.
I don't know what that is.
That sheet that's on there, burn that sheet. I make a good living. Get me a sheet that fits.
These were the good sheets.
No, that was a bad sheet.
Well, we're getting different sheets in.
Oh.
I make a good living. Before he said, regardless of what you may read, I don't make that much money.
Yeah, get the bed sheets before you get the car that's safe for you and the kids. Yeah, get me the bed sheets first.
Big time. Give me a blanket so I can suck my thumb and carry it around.
Oh my God, I had such diarrhea. I was so uncomfortable.
But you had a specially made bed. Don't you have trouble finding sheets?
We're getting that. We don't have that yet.
Oh.
Who's singing back there? Who's having fun?
Oh, Ashley.
That's my soon-to-be 3-year-old who won't toilet train.
So 96, yeah. She was born in 93, so if she's soon-to-be 3, then that's getting close to divorce time anyway. Oof.
He says, my soon-to-be 3-year-old who doesn't want to potty train. It sounds like she gets that from her dad.
She gets it from the old man.
Who's diarrheaing all over the fucking sheets.
Yeah.
Well, look, you're not toilet trained. Why should she be?
Here, let me tell her I just made duty on the toilet.
Maybe it'll disgust her enough to get her act together.
You want to talk to Daddy? No.
You want to talk to Daddy? No. Nobody does. 20-something years later, it's the same story.
Good job, kid.
Yeah.
I think they all want me out of the house. She doesn't want to speak to Daddy?
She's playing. Do you want to talk to Daddy?
Tell her I want to talk to her about Fred Flintstone.
Daddy wants to talk to you about Fred Flintstone.
Bet she'll come then.
Okay, she's coming.
I know.
Here, come talk to Daddy.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Ashley.
Say it again.
Hi.
Hi, Ashley.
You want to talk about Flintstones?
Yeah, remember we played with the Flintstones? And then I took Barney and Wilma and put them all in a big pile?
And they were both learning from Sesame Street, too.
And I fell asleep because I didn't want to really play with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wasn't that fun?
Yeah.
Are you going to make a duty today on the toilet?
Yeah.
Yeah, I made one today on the toilet. And I
don't lie to your child.
And I made a pee-pee on the toilet, too. You going to make a pee-pee on the toilet? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
Is she doing it?
She's gonna do it today.
Oh, good.
It sounds like he's getting like sexually aroused from the way he's creepy fuck. Anyway, let me just put this forward ahead. There's when they start talking about the cars again. Give me a sec.
Robin, okay.
Deborah, you're up.
We got.
Oh, hold on.
She handed me the phone.
Was that the 9-year-old or the 3-year-old?
You want the 9-year-old now?
Okay.
Deborah, you're up.
We got to discuss America Online with my kids.
Oh, good.
I'm going to try to straighten that out.
No, Deborah's no problem. She understands.
Yeah, she doesn't care what you do. Block everything.
Hi.
Hi, Deb.
Hi, Daddy.
See, Deborah's good because I told her America Online is filled with perverts and nuts.
She's like, yeah, they're right up your alley, and Daddy's gay, so this is a perfect match.
I'm helping you do research.
Yeah.
She understands, right? You don't want to be on that chat thing, right?
No, I'm scared of it.
You are, right?
Yeah.
She doesn't like the chat element to that, and she doesn't want to be on it.
Which is fine.
But Emily wants to be on it, right?
Yeah.
I think I should get rid of that.
No, don't, because she's on that thing with her friends.
I know. I'm going to do something about it, though. It's dangerous. I tell you, I don't like these. Deborah understands.
And now?
You like the games and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll play that with you. But that chat...
How about that? How about that whenever they go on, they have to go on with you?
Yeah. Well, I go on with Deborah. I mean, because yesterday I walked away, and wasn't that guy... There was some guy looking for cyber love and stuff?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this kid's a 9-year-old kid.
He was probably writing to Howard.
Yeah, she was on his page. She was locked in under his name.
Totally, yeah. Listen, watch Dad pick up this creep.
Dad,
Adults don't know.
Dad, what's long nose penis 4949?
I forgot those old handles. He put them in Miss America, and in some of the chats, like I think it was like the first chapter or the second chapter.
Yeah.
Oh, she's 9 years old.
Because we told them we were 16.
You told him you were 16?
Yeah, and then like...
Oh, my
What?
God.
Oh, man. To catch a predator?
All right, where's the pet? All right, you know what? Take those kids away, bro.
Yeah.
Take them away.
Big time.
Because they were 15.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then they wanted to have cyber
But
sex.
they said they were 15. I told you it's kids doing this, too.
I know, but who knows if that was 15? And what did they say? And then these boys say they want to have cyber sex?
Uh-huh.
And you don't even know what that is, right?
No.
Right. I'm getting that thing out of the house.
No, don't.
No?
No.
If you told your kids they weren't allowed to do certain things, they wouldn't do. You can't trust them to do it.
Yeah, Deborah wouldn't do it, but Emily, I don't know. Deborah knows to stay away from that nonsense.
Oh dear.
Emily does too, but she goes on with her friends.
Yeah, I know. But when I come downstairs, everybody's hiding everything.
Well, she doesn't want you to know what she's saying to her friends.
No, I don't mind that. That I understand.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's these other kids on there, and all I know is I signed them up for America Online, and then there's this thing called parental control.
What does parental control do?
It's something I know nothing about.
Exactly. I was about to say, do you want to look into that, sir? Like,
it's like Esperanto. What is parental control?
What is this parental control you speak of?
Now, this is the thing. Again, I don't have kids, so I don't have the knowledge of having to go to schools and what do you call them? PTA meetings, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, just meeting the teachers. Look, you're raising a hellion. What is it? Satan High School was full. Come on. So the computers at school used to be. I heard that they were locked. Like certain sites were locked out.
Yeah.
Is that still the case? Do you know about?
Yeah, you can still get around it.
I'm sure, like VPNs, everything. Like kids are smart enough to know about that. But is that? Do you know that that's still kind of going on?
Yeah, this still happens. You change a word here, you add an S there, and all of a sudden, poof, you're on all the sites you want to get into. But for a lot of schools, especially the school that my daughter goes to, they really specialize in ensuring that, because a lot of the technology that they use, the equipment that they have, is specialized for what they're in school for, like for filmmaking. Right. So if anybody even tries to tinker with any of that stuff, it becomes a real issue. So yeah, they have that on lockdown.
Okay, cool.
Knock out everything?
Yeah, well, I wanted to knock out everything. Then Deborah's got mad at me because it knocked out too much.
You can't even play the games at that point?
Right.
My goodness.
So then I found something. Then there's something where you can knock out some of these chat rooms.
Yeah.
Where the gay and lesbian rooms, all these rooms.
Ooh. Why does he go with those first?
I do declare, sir, please entertain me with your chat rooms.
Then I knocked that out. Then my 12-year-old starts screaming because she don't want to be knocked out of those rooms.
She wants a gay and lesbian room.
Yeah. I don't want that. What?
Ooh, and interesting. Emily, showing your colors beforehand.
Excuse me, madam.
Yeah.
I got 3 phone calls in a row, by the way, Robin, that said that these guys, these bad people that get on the line, they start by saying that they're 15 years old.
Right.
It doesn't matter. The girls are lying about their age, too.
Yeah.
Everybody's lying.
And whoever these guys are don't know that my 9-year-old is on there. I got to do something about this. I'm turning into Terry Ricolta.
No, Daddy, don't do anything.
Don't worry. I'll consult you.
Do you think he really gives a fuck?
No, please. To this day, until recently, I actually let the shackles off of my daughter. She'll be 17 soon, and I was monitoring everything that was going in and out of there. Yeah, she's 9 and she's talking about, oh, we tell them that we're 16. What? My house, backhand right across the face. That'd have been easy. Come on, we don't do that.
You mean when, like, if that had been us, like, as kids saying that to her? Yeah,
Kidding?
totally.
Please, I got in trouble for calling people's house doing prank calls.
Oh yeah,
sex lines. And it was like, I'm gonna come here and sniff your panties. I got my ass whipped for doing that shit. Imagine that. And I was like, same age, like 8 or 9 years old.
Right. So you knew where the line was, and you were fine jumping on it.
Please, my grandmother tore into me, boy.
All right.
What do you want him to do?
No, she doesn't want to be on chat.
But what I'm asking her what she wants you to do.
Leave everything and we'll just do everything fine.
See?
Yeah.
We won't go to chat rooms. I won't.
All right. Well, okay, because I don't want to have to worry. I can't sit there all day with you when you're in the chat room.
I can't. I won't.
You know, and then it's crazy. Fast forward to years later, he has the conversation with Gary and John Hine about them monitoring their kids and what they're looking at, what emails they're getting and such. And he's like, I don't mind you doing it, but why don't you just tell them? And, he got into this whole preachy kind of over here. He's like, all right, you're 9 years old. Go ahead, go and talk to a 16-year-old in the chat room. What the fuck? Like, what? Come on, guy.
I will tell you, as a parent, I will, if I were a parent, I would find a way to monitor it without telling them. And not because you want to intrude on their privacy, but it would be one of those things where I'm just wanting to make sure. Now I'm not looking. I don't want to look in the messages. I just want to see the threads and the emails. Where are they coming from? Who's messaging them? What kind of shit are they getting from people? What websites are sending them stuff? Kind of junk. Not that kind of thing. I wouldn't want to be like, getting into someone's like my kid's correspondence with their best friend or their boyfriend or girlfriend or stuff.
Right.
That's creepy. But it would be more along the lines of what websites are they visiting?
No, I was always on top of it, and my daughter knew. She knew early that I'm watching it, and there was still a trust there. And I always would, and I tell her if there's anything you're interested in or you looking to discuss, it's there. And yeah, I used to go look at her conversations quick. And the only thing that I really saw happening there, because I didn't do it often, it was like maybe casually go check. The only thing I saw was like maybe she cursed one or two times. I was like, okay, whatever, that's nothing. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, big deal. Like when they get to a certain age, then you got to give them their privacy. Yeah. But I mean, when they're early young teens and preteens, I mean, you got to be careful of that shit.
Dad, I was always on top of that, especially when it came to her getting emails and such. Oh yeah,
yes.
We were always linked up. I watched all that shit.
Yeah.
Rooms, because I'm busy on the chat rooms.
Well, how often do you want them on a computer anyway?
They're on it all the time now with America Online.
No, I'm just saying, do you want them to be on it all the time?
No, I want them to have a life.
Then why don't you say you can do that for an hour a day and you'll be there? Or
you can do that?
Can you live Of course, they're
really?
your children.
Oh, hey, kids. Deborah, you'll be my spokesperson. You tell the rest of those children that they can only be on those computer for an hour a day.
Okay.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Laying down the law.
Okay, here's
what else should I say, Robin? Thank you, Deborah. What else should I say?
Howard?
Yes?
Just that they have to be supervised.
Yeah, I came up with something new. Computer for an hour a day. That's all.
I know. They're abusing it.
Right.
They're obsessed with it already. Well, they just got it yesterday.
All right, I'll come home and straighten it.
I got a question. Do you think that he's doing that, in his narcissistic way, because we already know he's a narcissist, that he's doing that just to see that like he can still retain some kind of love from his kids, allowing them to be able to do this?
For that, I'd have to read a lot more into like the the ins and outs of NPD and what the relationship with kids, like what do they get from it, if they get anything. I'm sure it's just, they got to get supply, like, what you're wanting to intimate.
Right.
I'd say, yeah, but also with him, something deviant, like a vicarious thrill, like if putting them in harm's way, maybe to see what kind of creeps come out of the woodwork that he can get off on.
Yeah, because that's probably what I was aiming for. That maybe he still looks like the good guy for the kids by doing that,
right?
But at the same time, it's more of him just being lazy with parenthood.
Well, there's definitely that. Like he definitely went like that. What would people say? Like the TV is a great babysitter and that kind of shit. And like, and Len and I talked about this recently too. It's like, what? Sometimes you need to just plop the kids in front of a TV. Let them watch cartoons, whatever, while you go and do actual work in the house. And you need to do it. So the internet, another kind of TV, more or less, but just a distraction, right? And sometimes you need to let them play, I don't know, Noah's Ark or Flash, like all the Alchemy, all this Yahoo Games shit back in the day.
Put David and Goliath on, like to watch that.
Yeah. And so, it's not the worst thing in the world as long as it's not overdone. I mean, there's always the Columbine kids, but those kids were fucked up. I don't know what the hell. I shouldn't bring that up, I suppose, but it is a tragedy. But the absentee parents and what can happen in that kind of situation, it's another way for him to sort of abstain from being a present father.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, and I'm not saying guys out there, like people with QF in land that have kids and stuff, that you were bad people for letting your kids go on the net for an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever. I mean, at some point, the generation overturned where you weren't going to control it anyway, because if they had a smartphone, that's where they could get it. If they had a tablet, they can get online. They got the phone, computer, smart TVs. It's coming out of the walls.
Well, they became visual pacifiers. That's exactly what it became. And once again, if you're monitoring it, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, if you're parenting, then that's what you do. That's that's part of the experience of, you got work you have to do, or I got to cook. I can't play right now. Yeah, take this.
You take your 13-year-old son's phone, tablet. You want to look up a recipe, all of a sudden you're on Pornhub.
Yeah, like wait a minute.
Whoa!
I was looking for truffles and titties came out. What the hell that happened?
What? Quadruple gangbang.
Hey. It would be
pound cake.
Yeah, right. No, was it? What is it? Was that thing a blue pancake or what? A blue waffle? Blue
waffle. Remember that? Oh God.
That's not the recipe I was looking for.
That's when the internet broke. That's when that's when it became anarchy. That when that thing became, propagated.
I thought you took them out.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was looking to put 2 cups serving and 2 girls and 1 cup came up.
Okay. Here's the question.
That's the recipe for cake. I was trying to make a cake.
I'm sure you've seen that video. I mean,
unfortunately, a friend of mine put it on, and I swear to you, he and I didn't speak for like a couple of hours because I was so disgusted with him. I was like, "You got to go outside. I'm not talking to you."
When I saw it, I because someone sent me this, they did the same thing, sent me the link. You got to watch this. They didn't say what it was. There was no title. They just put MP4 or whatever. And I started watching it, and I started laughing hysterically because I said, "This must be nonsense. It's got to be ice cream."
My mind went to that, but then when I realized what the reality was, and I said, you know what? This is why I don't want to be friends with you. I hate you.
Yeah.
And
it's the worst.
He's one of my best friends to this day.
that was one of my favorite things on O&A. They have a collection of videos of people they made watch it. They have them in studio and they have watch it. And Bonnie McFarlane, they're trying to get her to watch it. She's just revolted. Bill Burr's reaction is great.
Out of those.
See, this is why I got mad at you yesterday. You weren't understanding. If you take off the chat rooms, then they can't do anything.
They can't
I want
even
you to take
talk
off
to their friends.
Right. Do you understand?
I understood that.
So you don't care?
No, you said to me that you took off the bad ones.
Yeah, but you got to leave some good, some in that are bad.
They can't, because otherwise they can't do anything.
Yeah, you got to leave some in, the gay ones for me.
I tell you, I don't remember. I don't know if you remember the early days of AOL, like how it was. It wasn't really. There wasn't really a lot to do on it, but go to chat rooms. So there was me and my boy, who I mentioned earlier. We go and entertain AOL chat room. So when we go into the room, we're sitting there in the New York chat room trying to holler at some girls, whatever the case may be. Yeah. This guy goes into the chat room, and his screen name, I kid you not, his name was Black Cucumber. We left the room. With a name like that, we're not winning. We're not getting any girls there. We're gone. We just left the room. He's like, that's it. That name. Anytime I meet up with my boy, and then I just look at him, I go, Black Cucumber. He goes, boy, he shuts down the room.
Well, that was the Wild West back then. Like Ask Jeeves, Netscape, Navigator, all that shit. Google was nothing. Amazon was nothing. You know,
and that was the early days of names. It's like,
oh yeah.
Now it's penis wrinkle or shit like that.
Yeah, well, yeah, God only knows. But I remember it wasn't so big in Canada, that's for sure. And a lot of the times, if you wanted to use a computer, you got to go to the library. A lot of people just didn't have the internet in their house until in those dial-up modem. The sound of the dial-up modem.
Was it monitored in the library like that?
At the university library, I don't think so. At the main public library, I think, yeah, it was. There were certain websites. There was, you couldn't get to certain things, or they didn't provide a browser. Actually, it was just for news. Like they had news apps sort of thing, and then they also had like just the regular like library, card catalog, but online. But the university ones, yeah, that's where you could you find some section no one was looking at. Then you get whatever porn you can. You'd install Doom 1 and 2 and play those,
Oh, God. To get that 30-day trial AOL CD, and it's get the lotion ready. What? Who said that? What?
There must be. We got those, but we never used them. And then because I think AOL, I think it was just the A part, like, well, we're not Americans, so why are we going on American Online? But I remember specifically that like chat, like Google groups started becoming a thing, and up until the early 2000s was kind of, it predated, it was forums before forums, and I think they're still out there. Actually, if you search properly, you can find some interesting things out there.
Oh yeah, please. Yahoo Chat at 3 o'clock in the morning, New York City. You found some very interesting people in Yahoo Chat.
No kidding. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, but what I was trying to explain to you is there's no. She doesn't understand.
I do understand.
There's no way delineation.
There's no
right. There's no in between. It's
what
either
do you think?
all.
I don't understand that. I understood.
No, you don't seem to understand this.
Oh, you're unbelievable. No, you don't understand.
So I started yelling at her that she doesn't understand, and the kids got upset because I was yelling at her.
Well, because I was saying to you.
Yeah, but you're the adult. You should understand.
Oh, you were.
Whoa, is that how he yelled?
Yeah.
I don't even know how he yells. He was having a tantrum.
Oh.
See, and so the kids, as young as they are, definitely the oldest, like Deborah and Ashley. No, Deborah and Emily, the two oldest, definitely had conversations about Daddy when he wasn't there.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's something that carries over later on. He even discussed when they got into their teen years.
Yes,
they would have their discussion with him, and they found him to be grotesque. Yeah. It happens with kids, but with them it was extremely, because of course with the separation, the divorce, there was a lot of big disconnect, and I agree with you guys. I believe that he had to go to, they forced him to go into therapy for it, or some form for it.
Oh yeah. He said he did couples therapy probably 97, started with Alison, and that was obviously to like see if, leading up to the separation, that was to determine whether or not they could quote unquote work it out, and before it was going to happen. But there was never going to be any working it out. I'm sure she was already checked out by that point.
Yeah, it was already in the cards.
Yeah.
I had diarrhea, all right?
Well, then why don't you stay upstairs and leave everybody alone? If you got.
God. And the other thing was, I think they were just biding time until the other ones were a little bit older before they could do the divorce thing.
Yeah, it sounds like like I said, you hear the distress in her voice in this one. Like
Yeah.
she's been toying with it for a little bit, but when he starts getting to that his octave in a certain way,
Yeah.
she knows that he's being obnoxious.
Yeah, and I don't believe it even had to be Allison telling either of any of the girls her story. They would have seen it for themselves without
Right.
needing to be told what an asshole daddy was. The only thing what Allison would have probably discussed with at least Emily, I would say, because she would have been the first to become an adult, that she could talk to her as an adult and say, look, your father fucked around on me or whatever. Like, and I don't even know that she would say that outright, but I'd say she would be probably asking questions to Allison, and then Allison would be going like, here's how it'll work. You keep telling me, ask me things. You ask me, make declarative statements, and I'll tell you if you're wrong.
Yeah, it's kind of tough when you go through a separation and such,
Yeah.
because you still try to be that fair parent and not try to downgrade your kid's mother, such a father, case maybe the parent. But they come to that certain age where the reality starts to hit, and like you said, yeah, unless you ask, I can't. I'm not gonna say anything. I can't say much about it, and I had to face that recently. It wasn't easy, but
Yeah.
it's just a facts of life that happened. I think with him as well. I was wondering whether or not if he had any remorse for not being there.
I don't
Because he's
believe so.
yeah, because there's been such a big disconnect with, he not even mentioning his grandkids. Like he just wouldn't you be a doting happy grandfather and such? You have these conversations. He acts as though like they don't exist.
Yes. Well, anytime he brings up people asking about their family, he never brings up about his own kids and his ex-wife.
Right. And you guys, what you got, like I tell you guys, you do God's work when you guys cover this jackass these days, and his father longing still connecting. I also think I don't think it's a Ben thing. I think it's inward. I think it's him. I really think he's reflecting about how he was as a father.
I don't think he ever saw himself as a father. That's the thing. I think he believed he was a bachelor all those years, and all those kids were incidental.
Right. And that's just what I'm saying, that now, like, I think that's why I sometimes have like a feeling that he does have some remorse, because it looks like it's more punishing for him to like realize that, I was a fucking, a non-compliant, not visible dad. And whenever I'm asking these celebrities, how is it that they function that way?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, here's a question I wanted to ask you. Do you think, because you said it, like in a separation, you try your best to be diplomatic about the person that left you, or vice versa, you're leaving, and with the kids where they're concerned, like if the ex gets married or carries on, or vice versa, that you don't talk shitty about their partner, and because you want the kid to know that it's as amicable as it could possibly be, even if they know differently. Right. Do you think Allison didn't even bother protecting him because they would have seen what an asshole he was to her?
Maybe to the youngest.
Yeah.
Yeah, to the youngest maybe, but the two older ones, no, they were already of age. They were already getting to that age. Because remember, by that time, and Beth came into life 01, 02, around that time.
Well, she officially like 98, according to her. The story changes so much. She's like, 30 years ago, whatever. Like she said, we met when I was 26. Do the math.
Well, remember, he was slinging dick, like he was saying, with Robin Gibbons and with Angie Everhart and such. But I think that it was really like who knows what their setup was. But by 2000, 2001 is when, I guess he was trying to say, yeah, my girlfriend thing. So by that time, they were older.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of get involved, do it in the right way. Do it in a pleasant way, and do it in a way that people appreciate.
Because maybe I was sick and I wanted my children to have a computer.
Well, you did it in a horrible way.
That voice.
Everybody was avoiding Robin.
I want to kill myself.
Everybody's coming to me. They're avoiding him. No one wants to deal with him.
Oh, get out of here.
Ooh, Jesus Christ.
Listen, I just heard one where it was around the same time, he's complaining about the family coming over for Thanksgiving and how he was ready to throw them out after the first night. He was already done with them.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that one I side with the Howard. I'm saying, in-laws can be.
No, but even still, it's like he's like, I did the whole, I did the whole dinner thing, and I go to hide, and and they're coming from different parts of the of the country, and they're only there for like a couple of days.
Not even maybe a couple of days. You can't put up with that for that however long.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be gone in a minute. Like her parents lived in Florida. The brother-in-law and them, I believe, lived in Connecticut or Pennsylvania somewhere and such. Like it was a distance.
It's insane.
It is not.
I didn't see one person avoid me.
You're so pleasant. Yeah, there was nobody around you.
Yeah.
Both kids who we got involved with were avoided.
I'm not getting involved with anybody. That's it.
They were both in tears
Oh,
yesterday.
they were not.
Howard.
Why? Because I was the one grappling with this America online. The reason they were in tears is because I was obstructing them from talking to perverts. Why didn't you get involved so you could be cried at?
No, I understand.
Oh, I'm always the bad guy.
No, it was the way.
Because I was being a good parent.
It was the way it was done.
Oh, that's not true.
And you weren't.
You know what? I gotta go. I don't want to hear this.
See, that was his MO. Get the fuck out of Dodge, yell, scream, whatever, just leave before something can be confronted and thrown in his face. And this is where you don't need a counselor to show that this is just a completely dysfunctional marriage.
Right. And he's now tried to educate others by saying this is not what you do.
Yeah.
This is like, maybe you should have took notes early on about doing that, because
that was their reaction.
Because I had to be the bad guy.
No, there was a
they
way
weren't
to
doing
do it.
anything wrong.
No, they were crying because I was going to take away the chat function on America
I can't imagine
Online.
how you did that to cause them to cry.
So I went and started doing it. They started crying, and my wife comes down, and she don't know nothing.
I know everything. What is the matter with you?
She's the good guy, and I'm the bad guy right away. So from now on, you know what, Alison? I got a whole new me. I'm going to unveil on the air in front of all my listeners.
Isn't that lovely?
Now you're going to hear the new me.
Yeah, the new you should be pleasant to your children and be involved.
No. I don't say I'm not pleasant to my children. I'm so...
Ooh, Jesus.
Oof.
I bet you he was screaming at the kids.
That, and I he has to be the good guy somewhere. He has to be, because it's twofold. It's not always one's the bad guy, one's the good guy. No, it's parenting. It's gonna flip flop from sometimes.
It can,
He can't deal with it. He can't. And his narcissistic ways won't allow him to not be liked in some way, be approved of.
Yeah, and I think there's also intense anxiety because it's a situation he doesn't want to deal with. So his endorphins go up, and all of a sudden, like, oh God, panic, fight or flight. I don't want to have to deal with this. Fuck you, and we're getting rid of this.
Right. And speaking of which, I've learned a new one. We, like you just mentioned, it's fight, flight, or fight. And the next one I heard was fawning, which he does too. He in this day and age, fawning, where you subside to the abuser. You give in to them. That's another form of it as well.
Oh yeah, well Beth does it all the time now. Like like she does it like I'm just so oh God, this is like it's almost like a doe like walking towards the water and sipping at it, and like very carefully, and all this, like you don't want to interrupt the fucking tiger as they're coming through the forest and stuff, and him being the abusive tiger, and you hear it when she does the baby talk, which she does a lot, Beth, but especially when she wants to get him off his NPD assault. She wants to be like a kid and act like a little bit subservient, but now she's getting more irritated, and the more breakdowns we do, it's just getting more and more obvious she fucking hates his guts.
I love the fact that it's becoming Imus.
Well, yeah, totally. And then at this age, like, we're still doing clips. Raven, God bless her, sent me 40 clips the other day. 40.
Nice.
Yeah, there'd be some breakdowns coming at you later, my friends.
Damn nice. I wish my father had been pleasant to me.
Raven sees some breakdowns in the future, and she'd be looking very nervous.
She looking scared.
Yeah, and I would be scared because there's clips all deep in this.
Let me tell you, I'm like a great guy. I'm in my sick bed. I go downstairs and hook up this America Online for him. I didn't know it was going to be a headache.
Almost drive him crazy.
Yeah, right. And then I come down. I see what's going on. They're talking to these guys, and they're talking about my 9-year-old is having computer sex.
Nope.
I'm freaking out. And then I go downstairs to stop them, and my wife, what's wrong, honey? So she comes down like a great person, and I'm stopping. The kids are crying.
That's not.
And now I'm a bad guy. Well, maybe, sometimes you got to be strong.
No, it wasn't a matter of that.
Oh,
it was
boy, no, but I got news for you.
Hey,
You
did
just
you
taught
ever
me.
hear of just talking?
You taught me a lesson. You taught me a lesson. I'm now going to be easygoing Howard.
Oh, listen.
Easy.
If you're now going to be easygoing, you're basically admitting you were an ogre to the kids.
That, and this is this is a very poignant and serious conversation that they're having, which is the kids and this is fairly fresh and new, chat rooms and stuff like that. This is where this, like I mentioned before, parenting gets involved. Sit down, have that conversation. Why do you want to be in these rooms? Why do you want to have conversations with 16-year-olds? What is it about? Have a conversation. He talked about how liberal and open he was. Well, this is as it can get. This is where you can have that dialogue.
No way. No way. Not with him. There's no dialogue. It's one-way traffic. Like it's going to be his way or the fucking highway.
Right.
And with kids, like, God, what kids? In this case, I think anytime he has to bother with them at all, it's just frustration because he just doesn't want to.
Don't want to, or didn't really grow up himself, and he's still a child himself.
Yes, and also just doesn't know how to. That's the other thing.
Easygoing Howard is my new name. I'm going to come home today.
Abdicate your
You're going to be the bad guy now. Watch.
No,
Easygoing Howard. I'm just going to be everyone's pal. I learned it in summer camp when I was a counselor. I used to get blamed for being the heavy, but then I got smart. I started to relax. And now, la, 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 la. Hi, kids. How's the...
He wouldn't get supply if he was the hard ass. So he decided, he learned at that or your earlier age to, if I love bomb these people, I'll get all the attention I want.
Either that or wind the fuck out of them, one or another.
That too.
Chat. How's chat? Were you talking to any perverts?
You're not a camp counselor now. You're a parent.
No, I'm a camp counselor now.
You're completely missing the boat.
That's okay, Allison. I know what you want me to do.
No, Howard.
I'm going to be pleasant.
No, there's a way to go about this.
I was being a parent yesterday.
I agreed with you.
And I'm all hitched.
I totally agreed with you on this. And I don't know why you're acting like I didn't understand the dilemma. I understood the dilemma perfectly.
Hey, Allison, the kids are in the homo room right now on America Online. Why don't you go down and help them out?
They're in the homo room that I left open.
Yeah. You see the screen name, Nosepecker 6969. That's mine.
If you just made it 79, it would have been perfect. It's all right.
Okay, Howard.
They're in the homo room right now.
Listen, Howard, I thought we worked it out, but there was a way to do it.
You could have come down and yelled, too.
Yelling at them.
No, you could have come down and yelled, too.
Yelled at what?
They could have yelled also.
No.
I'm not the only one who has to yell, but you'll see, I'm not going to yell anymore. You're right. You're absolutely right. We'll see how you do
No, there's a way to handle everybody.
She's the one, my wife pulls a fast one. She'll send me in to straighten out the kids, then she comes in and goes, what's wrong? Did Daddy yell?
You're too much.
And stop painting me like I'm a yeller. I'm not a yeller. The kids will be in the homo room today. You know what? I don't care. I don't care. The kids will be in the homo room. Teach them how to spell fag because they're going to be in the homo room.
They know how to spell it.
DAD. HOW. Yeah, you're right. DAD. Yeah, right.
Yeah, good. Well, you make sure they spell it right. Okay. Good luck.
A parent.
I'm the good guy.
Now look what he's doing. He goes one extreme to the other.
Bye. Good luck with the kids.
This is the problem with you, Howard.
You better go learn the computer.
You're some help.
That's right.
You better work.
You hear how she yells? Did I yell this whole time? No. Listen to how she yells.
Look, but now look at you, Mr. Combs.
Yeah. Oh, that's easygoing Howard you're listening to.
Oof, God.
Listen, and easygoing Howard didn't stay that way for a long time.
No, he didn't. There's no such thing as easygoing, Howard. I mean,
Really?
Christ, if you just listen to that the Wig Chill episode and listen to him go off on Dan Mason, the wrong Dan Mason for 20 minutes at a stretch.
Oh, you're terrible.
You are terrible.
Put a computer in your new Range Rover. So
That's a good idea.
So they can talk to the homos.
That's a good idea.
The 35-year-old homos. Good, that's good. That's good.
Just behave yourself.
He's unbelievable.
You better teach him how to spell the 50 different words for vagina so they'll be ready for cyber sex today. I'm not going to sweat it. I'm not going to sweat it.
You know what you have to do now.
She says I yelled at the kids. I never once yelled at the kids. They got upset because I was removing the chat function.
No, I'm not.
But you didn't.
No, I'm not saying you yelled.
I talked to them. Believe me, I was great with them.
Why were they upset?
I was yelling at Alison. She's coming down, and I was yelling at her, not at the kids.
Then why were you yelling at her?
Because she don't understand.
I understood.
She don't listen.
I understand. You are unbelievable that you didn't think I understood. He took the whole thing out on me.
Oh.
He didn't know what to do.
You know what? I was just not feeling good, okay? I know what kind of husband you want me to be now. I know what kind of husband you want me to be like. You want me to be like these other mindless idiots on Long Island. I'm going to be the same way.
No, Howard, I'm happy with the way you are.
No, you're not. I heard exactly what you said loud and clear.
No, you didn't.
Wait till your new husband's coming home today.
He's around the corner, actually, asshole.
It's like knock, knock.
Yeah, big time.
I'll be home in a couple of hours.
I'm running out.
Lucky you. You're going to have a whole new easy go. You're going to have Dean Martin a husband. Just prepare my cocktails.
All right, we have to leave. Are you leaving? We have to go. Goodbye.
I love you.
We'll discuss it later.
All right. And say hi to all the kids' new friends on chat. Big Uncle Al.
Howard.
I think he just got out of the penitentiary.
I don't want any of those on the line. Why are you acting like I want my children?
I tried to put a stop to it, but you didn't back me up.
No,
so now
you
I'm going to
put
be
Deborah
easy.
and kids only. She couldn't even do anything.
Easy going. Yeah, like it's my fault that America Online is set up for kids only. I didn't say.
Oh God, I can't listen to any more, guys. I'm sorry. I'm starting to, I'm thinking of buying like every existing copy of Emily Stern's Birthday so she can be rich enough to, I don't know, just put out one of those airplane what are those airplane flying messages across saying, Howard, you're a fucking asshole.
Skywriting and shit.
Skywriting, yeah, something like that over whatever the fuck he is. Somewhere in Italy. Oh, he's back now. So how bad do you think that's going to be when he comes back and has all these bullshit stories about how awful it was?
God, he's gonna whine, bitch, and moan, and you know what? You guys are gonna listen to it. That's awesome.
Part of it. Anyway, any closing thoughts before we wrap this up and take some Tylenol?
Yeah, I've like I said, it's been some time where it was that I heard how much of really low level parent that he was.
Yeah.
And it just so happened that you brought this up, and it was like of the past few days that it so happened that those kind of instances were coming up. And it just reminds you that, this guy made a fortune off of doing stuff like this and berating and making his wife seem like a lesser person. And just didn't really give a fucking damn about it. Like he just was, it's just an act. I'm doing it for the show. It's not really like that. No, he was a real fucking asshole.
And also didn't quite understand the ramifications of what it would make him like with his own kids. And then he'd have to pay the piper later on and pay serious money for therapy until he found he found out that he loved therapy when he started being able to talk about himself, talk therapy. But it's not going to win him any points with his daughters, who now that they're older, maybe they've forgiven him, maybe they've come up with some, but I have a hard time believing that.
Yeah, me too. I'm in that same boat.
Where you think that they're just like playing the waiting game and just hoping they're still in the will kind of thing.
Yeah, and it doesn't often seem as though like he wants to reach out. Doesn't seem as though that he's making any effort. He's just granddad and from a distance. He's non-existent. It's just it's terrible.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we hope this didn't depress you too much. We hope this more this sort of walk down dementia memory lane has helped to make you better parents as a result, or better kids, better for your parents. And realize that maybe we all got it a lot better than Howard. than Howard's kids did, and be a little easy on them, I suppose, when you think about what he put them through. And Alison especially. We're Team Alison all the way.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we love you guys. Take care.
And as well as to all you listeners, thank you for waiting for me to come back. I'm here. And as I always say to you guys, goodbye, my sweet loves.
I don't. Your name doesn't insult me.
Fuck Warp Speed. Fuck it. I ain't going to Warp Speed. Fuck Warp Speed. Fuck Zulu. Fuck that bitch. Hi, Spock.
Shut up. You about to blow.
Fuck the Enterprise. Fuck Vulcans. Fuck them.
Are you ready to
Hi, Zulu.
baby fat boy? Now shut up, you beach whale.
Fuck where Mo Man gone before. Fuck the final frontier. Fuck it. High bones.